Today on Co-op for Two, a quick spoiler-free review of Suspects, Adele and Neville Investigative Reporters, the third box in the Suspects series. Is this the Suspects box I've been waiting for? Stay tuned to find out. A quick reminder first that I purchase all the games we play on this channel myself, so if you want to see more unbiased reviews like this, I hope you'll subscribe to the channel and give this video a thumbs up. So what is Suspects? It is a pure deduction mystery game, solo or cooperative, but essentially a solo game. This is the third box in the series, this time with different protagonists. Here you play a couple of two investigative reporters who are a married couple set in the 60s. On the channel, we've actually played through all three boxes. It takes us about 5 hours per case to play through live on the channel, but probably you can expect somewhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours when you play. The boxes are currently on sale for about $30 each. That's $10 a case, so maybe equivalent to the price of a movie. If we look at the back of the box here, we can get a little bit of a picture of the three cases set in the 60s, and they're ranked from easy to medium to hard. So on one hand, that's good. You get a tour from easy case to a hard case. On the other hand, if you are very experienced, maybe the easy case is going to be too easy. If you're a complete beginner, maybe the hard case is going to be too hard. So that's a little bit of a problem. The basic mechanic of the game, you can see here. Let's take a quick look. I said this is spoiler free. I'm just going to give you a look at things you would see right away. So you've got your three cases, each of them a big deck of cards with a solution page folded up. Essentially, you read an introduction and you start choosing cards. You decide where to go, and each place you go draws a card, or each person you talk to draws a card. There are a couple of interesting mechanics to talk about, and this video is going to be short. If you want a much more detailed discussion of the system in Suspects, you can go find my first review. But essentially, you've got cards that are talking to people, cards that are about a location, cards that are more detailed examination of a specific item. You get a list of the questions you're going to have to answer at the end, right up front. This is one of the unique mechanics of this game, that the way it works is by the end you'll have read everything, all the cards. But you're asked to figure out the answers after seeing half of them and then a little bit more. So the sort of gamey part of this is to try to see if you can figure it out as early as possible and be efficient in where you go and who you talk to. There's also another interesting mechanic where occasionally you can line up cards. One thing that does is lets you match up things like this fingerprint belongs to this person, and then occasionally you line them up to ask someone about a specific card. It's actually quite a clever little system. The art is pretty fantastic, and let me just show you the documents related to the first case. This is what you'd see right away. This is typical, though. You read a longish introduction to the case. You get the questions you're going to have to answer right away. And then typically, each case has one or two little documents. This case, this is what you'd see right as you start playing the game. This is representative of the art you'll see, and these are places, people you can go to talk to. So if you want to talk to this person, you draw this card. And then here we have an actual blueprint, plans of a location, so you can pick and go to each of these places to have a closer look at them. And that's the basic mechanic of Suspects of all three boxes. There are some little new ideas in this box that are interesting, but essentially all 3 boxes of Suspects are the same basic system. So before I give you my thoughts on this box, let me tell you a little bit about my history with the Suspects series, the first 2 boxes. Of course, you can watch those 2 reviews, but as a summary, we've had a mixed but closer to frustrating experience as a total experience with the first 2 boxes. We've all agreed, the group I play with here on the channel, that there are a lot of things to like about this system, and that in general the cases are have got subtle clues, they're interesting, they're generally very carefully crafted, and they're not to be taken lightly. You really do have to be serious about solving these cases. Lots to love. However, in both of the first 2 boxes, the wrap-ups of each case, the solution, the thing that you're meant to figure out has felt quite frustrating. And mostly that's come down to some combination of feeling that the evidence could have pointed in many directions, and the authors chose one particular solution that didn't feel all that well founded by the evidence. So frequently in the first 2 boxes, we got to the end of the case, read the solution, and felt like we were a little bit cheated by that solution, that it did not feel like it justified the full journey of the case. It sort of didn't have a good payoff. Always a little bit of a letdown by the time we got to the end. The good news here is that this is easily my favorite box of the set, and I do believe that from my perspective, and of course your mileage may vary, this is the Suspects box that sort of got everything right. The cases are good. The journey through each case is quite satisfying. There are subtle clues. It's all the best parts of Suspects. Except here, the endings feel right. They feel satisfying. The work that you put into solving the case along the way pays off in the end. And it does feel like, again, this could be a subjective thing, but for me, it feels like the cases are a little more polished in terms of bringing them in for a landing. And one case in particular I really loved in this box, but I would say that all of the 3 cases in this box would be at my top 3 of the totality of the 9 cases in the Suspects series. And I think not only that, but here is where the efficiency mechanic in this game has paid off, because the cases feel logical, a little more logical than the other cases. Still a little bit of cartoonishness here, but you can be smart about investigating your theories in an attempt to try to answer the questions early. So combine that with the interesting storytelling here and the use of some new little experimental ideas. This, for me, gets a big thumbs up. Perhaps the only knock on this box from some of the people I played with, and it's almost unavoidable when you want a satisfying ending, is that maybe these cases didn't provoke as much debate and discussion and argument as the previous boxes, but that's because the previous boxes had solutions that didn't quite make sense or were a little bit iffy, so that they're created maybe more interesting debate among the players about what was really going on. Here, by the time we got to the end, we felt on much more solid ground. And I should say that Suspects is one of the few deduction mystery games that I feel is well suited to a larger group. You know, my bias is for small player counts, maybe 2 players perfect for all of these kinds of games. But because everything is on a card here that rewards rereading, and you've just got a stack of them as you play the game, This game is quite well suited to having a group of people that just pass around the cards and sort of read them when on their downtime, or read them separately and discuss it. So if you're looking at a 5 or 6 player group and you want to find a game that might suit that, this might be your ticket. So some quick final thoughts here. I absolutely would recommend this box. I'd recommend it as the first box you try from this series. I think if you like this box, there's a good chance you'll like the others. If you had some problems with the first 2 boxes, this might be worth a try anyway, just because of how well it improves the system. And I think they are getting better at this. I'd like to see more boxes of Suspects. I'd certainly be happy to play through them. It does require some real attention and focus. This is not a trivial mystery game. Maybe the only caveat is that the price is a little high for the playtime you get. If you can get it on sale, though, it's a no-brainer.